we're here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's December 1st here in Seoul. I'm Shin-Yoon, and you're watching News Generation. And today I have two very special guests joining me in the studio. It's Jung Hae-sun. Hae-sun, you're a new face here. Please introduce yourself.
Hello guys, my name is Hae-sun Jung and you can call me Sunny. I am working as a broadcast writer here in Arirang, and I'm also a news production team of News Gen, so I'm so happy to be here right now.
We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And another special guest we have, it's Max Abrams. You've actually joined us through Skype a few times.
I have, over Skype.
Exactly, but it's your first time in person.
I know, and it's a pleasure to be here. Hi everyone, my name is Max. I'm a full-time content creator here in Seoul, known as Max Not Beer, or 맥주 아니고 맥스. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. It's a pleasure having both of you here in the studio, and both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. As usual, let's start with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news items that have been trending on social media over the past 24 hours. A photo capturing the moment when Fubao, the giant panda's twin sisters, were born, has been selected as one of Time magazine's top 100 photos of this year. It shows the mother panda, Aibao, with her newly born female twin pandas, and born in July, this was the first time twin pandas were born here in South Korea. And Tesla's Cybertrucks are finally ready for order. It took the company 4 years to get these trucks thought to be strong enough to block out gunshots manufactured and out in the market. More than 2 million people have registered their pre-orders, and Tesla's stocks also went up by 4% following the release announcement. The reason it took Tesla years to get this Cybertruck out was because of its cumbersome production process. The truck, made from unpainted stainless steel, is shaped like a triangle. And early Thursday, a 4.0 earthquake hit the southeastern city of Gyeongju in Gyeongsangbuk-do province. 7 aftershocks followed, with the largest one recording a magnitude of 1.5. But what also followed were emergency alert messages on cell phones nationwide. What's spurring debate is that these blaring alerts ring on the phones of residents not only in Gyeongsangbuk province, but nationwide. And the KMA thought it was best to promptly assess the level of damage and prepare the public for evacuation in case of strong aftershocks, even though it was early morning. And according to cell broadcasting regulations, an alert notification is sent nationwide when a quake's magnitude is over 4 on the Richter scale. But many social media users complained that the nationwide alert messages were a bit too dramatic or even excessive. Some even said they were so annoyed because they woke up from their morning sleep over a relatively trivial issue to them, given that the tremors didn't physically reach them. So here in the studio, I'm quite curious as to how you guys thought about this news story, starting with you, Max.
Yeah, trust me, I don't like waking up early in the morning as much as the next person, but I think my gut reaction is better to be safe than sorry. In a place, tons of unsafe things can happen at any given moment, and I think I'd want to know that my government is working diligently to make sure that the system to notify me of those unsafe things is working at all times, regardless if sometimes I get some notifications that are a bit more trivial.
Always being safe is best, but how's it like in the States?
In the States, it's very different, I would have to say. In the States, there's a little bit more of a distance between American citizens and their government, I think with regards to privacy concerns as well. American citizens don't really love to hear from their government on their cell phones. So I live in New York City, for example. I grew up there my entire life, and plenty of unsafe things happen, every day in New York City, but I don't hear about those specifically from the New York City government or from the statewide government. And sometimes I wish I would. I think there's apps nowadays where I can get news about this type of notifications, but it's up to the app's sort of jurisdiction to determine what news to tell and what not to. And sometimes I think I would like to hear it directly from my government.
But I think that's also a good idea and another option if you're the one actually downloading these apps, because then you are providing your consent. But as you mentioned, if the government gives out messages, I think privacy always poses a grave concern.
That's a good point. And oh, no, go ahead.
Exactly. Now, Sunny, I would love to hear your thoughts on this matter, because here in Korea, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic, our phones have been blaring with so many emergency messages, whether it be in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day. And sometimes if you put your phone on sound, they have blaring alerts, which sometimes surprises me. And that's why it prompted my friends to even mute their phones. What about you? Are you quite fond about these message systems in place?
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna say I feel sorry and saddened about the earthquake in Gyeongju because I know how it's frustrated because I also experienced earthquakes a few years ago. And regarding your question, yes, and I am also one of those people who like turned off the alarm during the COVID pandemic because it's so frustrated and so alarming, and the sound is so big. But I also agree with Max that we'd better prepare than we could really in the bad situation. So like for me also, I really get the people who got surprised by the false alarm, like the alarm. But I might also turn it on again so that I can prepare myself and be more precautious.
Exactly. It's always best to be safe than sorry. And that was our news feed for this Friday. We're now going to switch gears to our main discussion for today. The weather is definitely getting colder here in Korea, but luckily, there are some must-eat Korean winter street foods or snacks that can help you beat the cold, and today we're going to introduce them. Before we do so, we're going to go around and share our personal favorites during this time of the year. And Sunny, I can tell you are really ready for winter. Your outfit just screams winter. So as the winter girl on the show, what is your personal favorite?
So my personal favorite snack, I'm gonna go with, wow, this is so tough question. So there are so many delicious winter snacks, but I think I'm gonna go with HOTTEOK.
HOTTEOK.
Yes, HOTTEOK is my favorite, especially with the one red bean paste.
Ooh.
Yes.
And for our viewers who might not know what HOTTEOK is, we're going to be explaining in depth, but they're steamed buns. And they're just like these circular buns filled with red bean paste. I really like HOTTEOK as well too. What about you, Max?
I think I have to go with HOTTEOK. Is
HOTTEOK.
my favorite.
Okay.
HOTTEOK is a sticky rice donut that's pan fried in these shallow oil pans. So it's flattened into a really thin circle, and it could be filled with a ton of different fillings. Sometimes there's gur HOTTEOK, which is a sticky honey sauce. Sometimes it's shia HOTTEOK, which is seed HOTTEOK. But truly, any HOTTEOK is good for me. It's crispy on the outside, it's chewy on the inside. It's one of my favorites.
It's amazing. It's really sweet.
Yes.
Now, we've mentioned already a few already, but why don't we delve a bit deeper into each of the most popular snacks out there? And I would like to now share my personal favorite, and it's bungeobbang. Bungeobbang is like fish-shaped pastries normally filled with red bean paste. And I mentioned on our news feed how ingredient prices have soared amid inflation, raising prices. Because back when I was a kid, I remember buying like 4 bungeobbang, these fish pastries, for maybe 77 cents, like less than 1,000 won here in Korea. But the other day, I had to pay more than $1 just for one single small fish snack.
It's absolutely insane.
I know, the food prices are crazy these days. But have you guys tried out bungeobbang recently?
Yes, what a coincidence, because actually I had my bungeobbang last night. Yeah.
You really must love winter snacks.
It is. It's my favorite season, my favorite snack. And the thing is, I had 2 bungeobbangs for 77 cents. So I think my neighborhood is much better than Grace's. Yes. And again, I had my red bean paste bungeobbang.
And if you look at the screen now, this is what bungeobbang is for our viewers to know. Max, have you ever tried them out?
I have had bungeobbang before, although I have to say, unfortunately, it's not my absolute favorite.
What?
I understand the appeal. I love the red bean filled one. I love the cream flavored filled one. But if you put bungeobbang next to HOTTEOK and you asked me to pick one, or next to a lot of things, I think I would pick the other thing.
You know what, Max? I thought we were getting along up till now, but if you're not a bungeobbang person, I know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we can get along. But as you can look at the screen, bungeobbang is my favorite snack. Just by looking at it, there's so much like spit like coming up in my mouth because I'm like drooling for it. But another fun thing to talk about this snack is that there's so many different type of fillings that you can have in it. Like as Haesun mentioned before, there is that classic red bean paste that we put in there, but there's so many other fillings such as cheese, custard cream, choux cream, and nowadays I've even seen like chili paste and spicy chicken sauce. So there's so many different fillings out there, and I'm curious as to whether you guys tried it, starting with you, Haesun.
So actually, I am team original, and I always go with red bean paste. But I heard a lot of people nowadays are also enjoying sweet potato fillings. And I heard it's really delicious because it has like the purple colored paste in it, and it has like, it's really smooth compared to the red bean paste. So I really want to try it one day.
Oh, what about you, Max?
I think I'd be down for some of those newer flavors that you mentioned. I think a chili filling excites me, or purdak, a spicy chicken cheesy filling, because the outside is naturally a little bit sweet. So if you fill it with something savory and spicy, I think that's more the road I would want to go down.
Exactly, and Max, I think you also, if you're not a big fan of bungeobbang, but you want to try different fillings out, I have another question for you then. Though you might not be the biggest fan. where do you start off by eating it? Because this is also a heated debate here in Korea. Like, are you team head, meaning that you start off by eating the head of the bungeobbang?
Yes.
Or are you team tail, where you have to flip it and then eat from the tail?
Well, by just the way that you said flip it, I get a sense that you are team head, and I have to say that I think I'm team head as well.
Okay.
Just because it seems most natural to me. I don't know why I would flip it upside down to start the eating process, and I think I like ending on a little bit of a crunchy note, which is where the tail ends up being.
Yeah, what about you, Haesun?
Oh, another point for team head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because personally for me, I have bungeobbang because of the fillings, because I love the fillings. And the fillings are more focused on the head part, not the tail part. Tail part is for crunchy texture, like Max mentioned. So for me, also, I love head side.
It's just like a biscuit towards
It is, yeah.
But isn't it quite fascinating? I think for every episode on News Gen where we talk about food or snacks, there's always like so many debates in regards to how to eat this food.
There are.
And there's so many debates regarding bungeobbang, as we mentioned, like what type of filling you're for, which order of the the bread you eat. And that's why I would now like to talk about another type of bread, and it's called HOTTEOK. It's steamed bread, and jimbang. That's quite similar. And you mentioned before that HOTTEOK was your favorite snack. So why don't you tell us apart what HOTTEOK is and jimbang is?
Okay, so first of all, jimbang is steamed bread. Like as Grace mentioned before, it's white and really cute shaped.
Yeah.
And HOTTEOK is also a kind of jimbang, but I heard HOTTEOK has more taste than jimbang, such as veggie HOTTEOK, sorry for that. Or like pizza HOTTEOK, sweet potato HOTTEOK, such like that. And also there's a little like background story of the name of HOTTEOK, because as it is really hot bread, we blow it before we eat it, so it sounds like ho. So that's why we call it HOTTEOK. That's where it came from.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
That is so cute, because in Korea we say hoo when we're trying to like get the steam out. And Max, I can see that you're also trying HOTTEOK out there. What was your experience like?
Yeah, so I didn't know that that's why it's called HOTTEOK, although it makes sense because as you can see in this video, the steam was coming right off of it, and it's delicious. It was jam-packed with red beans. So if you like red bean as much as Sunny does, for example, you would definitely love HOTTEOK. So the next time you go to a market and you see a sort of giant steamed vat where the guy takes off the lid and the steam rises and all these little buns inside, that's HOTTEOK, and I would highly recommend that you try
Exactly,
it out.
and going off of that, HOTTEOK, well, you can find it in traditional markets. In order for it to be more accessible, there's a thing called jimbang. It's basically like the brother of HOTTEOK, but as you can see on the screen, it's just now more available in CVS's, like convenience stores. And elaborating on like the different food debates that we have, a lot of people also talk about what type of HOTTEOK they like or jimbang they like, whether it be veggies or red bean paste. So if our viewers have a chance to go, try everything out and then choose it. Now I'd like to move on to the discussion of us sort of having classic taste when it comes to winter snacks. There's a term called halmennial, which is a combination of the words 할머니, which is the Korean word for grandma, and millennial, referring to how you can have a similar taste bud to a senior citizen even though you're a young millennial. And there's so many winter snacks that are popular among all generations, especially that target these halmennial people out there, including myself. And these snacks are sweet potatoes, roasted sweet potatoes that is, roasted sweet chestnuts, fish cakes, also known as omuk. So Haesun, I know that you like the classic red bean paste filling for all of your Korean snacks so far, so I can say you're a halmennial. Which is your favorite halmennial Korean snack?
Halmennial. It's really fun to say that myself that I am halmennial because I am the youngest among the News Gen team, but I have the most halmoni. Okay, so let me say that my favorite halmennial winter snack is 군고구마, which is roasted sweet potato. Like roasted sweet potato is a little bit different from the steamed one because it's more sweet and it has like the chewy taste than compared to other sweet potatoes. And as you can see my hat, this is, we call it 군고구마 hat in Korea.
Oh, okay.
Because 군고구마 sellers also wear like these kinds of hats a lot. So anyway, my favorite winter snack is 군고구마, roasted sweet potato.
And I remember you having it the other day here at the
Yes, I had
company.
it like, it's just a few days ago.
Exactly. And to give you a bit more history on how roasted sweet potatoes became popular, it often started off as a street food. There were street vendors who would have their cylinder roasters out and they would scream out, there's 군고구마 for sale, and then people would come out of their neighborhoods try to get a piece. But nowadays, it's quite easy to find them at convenience stores, right?
Yeah, anywhere you go in Korea, you can go to any of the many convenience stores that you might find on one street, and typically either near the cash register or maybe sometimes right outside, you'll see a hot case that'll have bungeobbang in it. It might have roasted chestnuts in it. And I found this to be really fascinating the first time I came here because in America, our gas stations and our convenience stores have these hot cases, but I wouldn't recommend eating all of the things inside of them. They're not always good. They're not always good for you. But here in Korea, those hot cases are filled with a lot of incredible delicacies. So I really recommend that people try them.
Right, and I personally love roasted sweet potatoes and roasted chestnuts also because though it's very traditional, it's very accessible because we can find them easily at CVS's, as Max mentioned. And another $1 million question when mentioning roasted sweet potatoes is exactly what you pair them with, right? As I mentioned, I think our generation, especially those here living in Korea, always love to mix things up with different snacks. So starting with you, Haesan, what would your best pairing combo be?
Wow. As a 군고구마 lover, it's really hard to choose just the one for that. But being born in Korea, raised in Korea, and now living in Korea, I'm gonna go with kimchi.
Oh, you're going for the
I'm
classic
going
route.
with the classic
Really
one.
Harmonial.
It's really
Millennial all the way.
Yes, because it really tastes really good with 군고구마 because 군고구마, it has its own sweet thing, but sometimes it's too much for habit always. But with kimchi gives a kick on that. So with sweet potato and spicy kimchi, it matches so well, and if you go with them together, you can have 군고구마 forever and ever.
It's sort of like 단짠. And 단짠 is a phrase where we talk about eating something sweet, going to something salty, sweet and salty, and that like makes it more savory, right?
Right, then now I'm just thinking the word 단매.
Oh, what's
maybe
단매?
단매 is like 단, sweetness, and 매 for spiciness. So I'm gonna say like 단매.
단매.
Sweet thing and then spicy thing and then sweet thing comes again.
You're very trendy Halmennial.
I'm trendy Halmennial. Told you, the youngest Halmennial in this city.
As the youngest Halmennial, you have a few like trendy words down your sleeve.
I'm learning it this day.
Exactly. What about you, Max?
I think my favorite pairing with roasted sweet potato has to be cheese. Because like you mentioned, the 군고구마, the roasted sweet potato, can be a little bit sweet, so it's nice to pair it with something salty or savory. So I sprinkle some mozzarella cheese on top, throw it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and it's like a whole new world of roasted sweet potato. Okay. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
That is your personal tip, right?
Oh yeah, but I put cheese on like pretty much everything.
And cheese goes along with everything.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
For me, guys, I would recommend milk. I know this is quite classic too. I'm a Halmennial myself, but if you try like really hot steamed roasted sweet potatoes with milk, it sort of tastes like a sweet potato latte.
Oh.
Yeah, take my word for it and try it out. Now, we're going to go to Max's favorite question now. Because Max, you've mentioned in the very beginning that this is your favorite snack. What is it again?
It is HOTTEOK.
Yes.
HOTTEOK. And actually the first time I came to Korea was in the winter. It was the winter of 2017. And I have a very fond memory. It was literally the first day I arrived in Korea and I went to a 시장 and I saw this ajumma cooking this sweet sticky donut in this vat of oil and it looked so syrupy and delicious. Turns out that was HOTTEOK. And I loved it so much that winter I made a little blog called HOTTEOK because it was Christmas season. So in the spirit of my love for HOTTEOK and Santa, I made a series called HOTTEOK where I just tried as many different HOTTEOKs as I could during the month I was here, and each one was better than the next. Me and HOTTEOK have a very special relationship.
And do you like the ones with nuts in them?
I like the 시알 HOTTEOK or the ones with nuts in it, but I think my favorite is the OG gur HOTTEOK. It's just some syrup, a little bit of nuts sometimes too, but really just the syrup and the sticky dough. You can't go wrong.
Max, I think you're a Halmennial too.
Am I?
You like sticking to the
Oh God, I become a
classic.
Harmenial. Okay, what do I do?
No, but as you can see on the screen, there's so many variations as to how to make this HOTTEOK. I think we can call them sticky pancakes in English. And in Busan, there's even just like a road dedicated for 씨앗 HOTTEOK, where you put nuts inside the HOTTEOK. So do go if you have the opportunity. Now, we asked our viewers if they've also tried some Korean winter snacks themselves. Here's what 3 of them had to say. Take a look at the screen to find out. Let's start with Hannah. Hannah said, on a bitterly cold day years ago in Tokyo, I first tried tteokbokki. You should try tteokbokki in Japan.
Tokyo.
Yeah. And the spiciness caught me off guard at first, but I quickly came to love how it kept me warm. Before long, tteokbokki became my absolute favorite, and these are red spicy cakes here in Korea. Now, Nuri J said definitely fish-shaped buns. It tastes sweet, and even the Korean name itself makes me feel warm. bungeobbang. Nuri, I feel you, girl. I'm also a bungeobbang fan. Anna said, I tried bungeobbang and 찰옥수수 last year. Oh, corn. And the former was definitely very sumptuous, and the latter was simple but healthy and yummy. I think all of our viewers gave us really good insights that really sums up the traits of winter snacks out there. They are sometimes like junk foody, street food. You can get it at a really affordable price and they taste amazing. But there's also very healthy ones like sweet potatoes, corn, and what else, like chestnuts out there. So that's why I would now like to ask you, before I let you two go, how can our viewers better enjoy Korean winter snacks?
Korean winter snacks. I think my first recommendation would be go to the nearest store, get some long padding. Is long padding still in nowadays?
Yes,
I know that
is.
they were trendy a bit ago, but get some warm clothes because you're going to be outside for a really long time. Warming yourself up at a local shijang or market or at a convenience store, or even if you go hiking. Sometimes hiking is really accessible here in Korea, even in the winter. And as you climb up the mountain, you'll still find stands along the walk up the mountain that serve all of these winter snacks that we've been talking about. So get some warm clothes, eat some even warmer food, and I promise you'll have a wonderful winter time here.
And if you have time, just like you, Max, make a blog about all the different types of Korean
Please
food.
do, and send it to me. My name is @MaxNotBeer, and I want to find even more delicious HOTTEOK, so please send it to me.
Let him know. What about you, Haeson?
For the tips for better winter snack, maybe I'm gonna recommend you to keep yourself much colder than you expected. As told you before, the winter snacks are mostly very hot and it's really sweet. We can keep our temperature pretty high if we have the sweetness inside us. So like keep yourself really cold and really find a good place for your winter snack and grab a bite, then it's gonna be a heaven there.
And then go hoo hoo hoo.
Don't forget the
That's the best part of having winter snacks. You might be cold on the outside, but fill your stomach with something warm. Now, in the meantime, we'll be here every day from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you more topics young people are talking about. Special thanks to Jung Hae-sun.
It's my pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you here. And Max Abrams.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Now, thank you everyone for watching. We'll all see you next week. We are News Generation.